Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. And it's another beautiful day. Hello everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Depending where you are joining from or depending on what time you are watching this replay. It's another beautiful day and I'm so excited to be doing this live session. And hi Martia. Yeah, I'm excited to be doing this live session. You guys let me know if you can hear me. Okay. Yeah, let me know if you can hear me and I'll just increase my volume. Like I was saying, it's another beautiful day. I'm so excited to be doing this live. And for those of you that are joining for the first time, I will introduce myself. My name is Isabel. I'm a Reiki master, an intuitive channeler of healing, and I'm also a light language channel. So in today's live, I will be inviting my lovely brother, Lex, to join me. Him and I are going to know Thyself. And through this live, we will discuss all the various different healing modalities. For example, him and I have used, and we'll be sharing them with you. And if you may have any questions that come through, that you need some clarity on, some support, or any ideas, you can just let us know how the conversation goes, and you can feel free to ask. So my brother Lex, I'm trying to get you in to join the video. So let's see if it's okay. Let me see if you can get in. Okay. Hello. Hey.
Peace. Unity.
So excited to see you.
I'm excited to see you, Queen. My sister.
How are you? Good. It's afternoon. How is your day? How are you doing?
Oh, my days are always as I intend, because it's about the intention, right? And so when you are used to putting these practices, these modalities into as rituals, consistently, consciously, you then begin to embody exactly your heart's desires, your balanced thoughts, emotions. And so everything that you do is always from a space of love. Whenever you do things with intentional love, everything will go exactly how it should. So yeah, my day is going as it should, and I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. It's really such an honor to have you, and I'm excited too. I'm glad we are able to do this, and I know you have lots of knowledge, as you have so many tools in your toolbox and your water. Yay! Healing with water. Oh, I do that with my CMOs. I have like all the informations written on it and I take that in. But right now I'm having my cup of tea. And yeah, so just if you could just like really, for those that don't know you, which is most people here that are tuning on, if you can like introduce yourself and just let us know what you do, and we'll get started there.
Absolutely powerful. Thank you. So basically, I go by Lex or Baba Lex, or Lex stays liquid, depending on your level of consciousness. I never was always this way. However, my spirit, my soul was always this way, right? I started off being super masculine in nature, meaning that I was a semi-pro soccer player. Okay? When I played semi-pro soccer, I was involved with teams, playing different teams, that whole dynamic. And in that year, I discovered, and I was also told and shown that I was a leader. I became captain of certain teams that I was in. I also led my high school. The first teams played.
There's an echo in the background.
I can also hear that. Just give me a second, please.
Okay.
Just give me a second. I'm used to this. Sometimes when you begin speaking to just weird things happen.
I know. So funny. Okay.
Let me just see if I can connect some wireless headphones. Usually works.
They working?
Yes. 2 seconds. Okay, mic check.
Yeah, that's better. Yes.
See? Okay, wonderful. Sorry about that. Apologies. So, when I began discovering who I was as a leader by being captain of certain teams, by leading certain groups of men, of boys, because I went to an all-boys establishment at the time. And so in this, I started to discover my power as a leader. I wasn't quite aware to what degree. However, all of the signs have been there. In my personal life, I've been through definite downs, major downs, higher ups, but ups are always going up, right? So in those dips, I discovered that I had a lot of traumas from childhood. I had a lot of resentment, a lot of hate for certain things that didn't go the way I wanted them to go as a young person. And also I was not explained to why it's not meant to be that way. And so in that day, out of high school, so university time, so between the ages of about 19 to 25, I went through a series of just meeting the wrong people, doing work behind the desk for a corporate establishment, which I hated. I wasn't doing as much sports. I wasn't doing my passions. I wasn't playing. And so in those dips, I would go to dark places. I would go to dark places and not know how to express myself, who to speak to, where to go. And so it made me go further down. And this was the rabbit hole, which I called a period of just darkness, right? Because in that day, I was always attempting to be what I was told I was. So hence why I found myself in spaces which I was not meant to be. Once again, I worked corporate. I did do a tertiary education, which is a college, and I went into information technology because that's just one of the natural gifts I have, which now I utilize. I'm able to discern and simplify a lot of things which are otherwise complicated. So that's why I took the interest in that. Also,
looking at the way the world was going, it seemed like a good idea. Family was backing me also. So that was also something which is a privilege which I had. Okay. Fast forward after that, got the qualifications, and even in this system, difficult to get a job. And so that was a bit of a struggle. I also went through some mental things, mental issues in that, you know, doing that sort of stuff. Job hunting is what we call it in South Africa. Maybe around the world, I'm sure that you can relate, right? And I started to work a desk job. So desk behind the desk, technical, taking orders, being told you do this, we need this done, not even having my mental health checked, because at some stage I started to, you know, wake up to energy. And in this was when I was working behind the desk, noticing that when I walked, before I walked into the office, I was energetic to a certain degree because I still did keep up my fitness. I've always been someone who's very physical, as I've alluded to, someone who has always been very masculine. You know, I've always trained, maybe not as consistent at different periods back then, but I always kept up a decent physique and, you know what I mean, you know, kept fit in the physical realm. In terms of what I ate, it started to become more and more fast foodish because of the nature of my work, and also because that was what made, you know, it was what started to rule my life. Work, wake up 9 to 5. On the weekends, maybe you have to be there. Half days, only day you have off is Sunday. It's, you know, so that for me, the being that I am, I started to wake up to this energy. You can now I write about it in my books, which are coming out, especially what the shift is happening. Is that different pulses of energies in different times, 2012, 2008 with the great crash, but most of this is celestial energies, but also it's inverted by the system and made a event for you to be distracted or harness energy of whatever the case may be. So 2012 was one of them. Energetically, things happened. Physically, things happened. The world was going to end. Energetically, a world did end. Okay, so a lot of worlds within me were also ending, and I was rejecting that. Okay, the fact that I'd walk into the office, feel lethargic by the time it's midday. I walk outside for tea break, and I'm feeling better. I'm in the sun, but I had no idea what was happening. I just felt it. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, fast forward the clock about that. Got into a few weird relationships with females. Okay, I've always been someone who's respected women. Never been a womanizer. I've always been around women. It's just been a thing, you know what I mean? And so I've never felt the need to control women or be in that sort of frame of mind. So that I really don't understand, but I get where it's coming from now because of the work that I do, right? And so the lady that I was with, bless her soul, we're not in contact any longer because what I left there and I moved forward, which is also a lesson I learned, right? And she came with her own traumas, which without being dealt with, you know, we all have different families we come from, different cultures we come from. Culture is the environment, the people, places, things which govern, tell you what to do, control, and also shape your belief system, which shapes you. So she came through with a different sort of belief system, and also there was an abandonment issue in there. The mother and father split when she was young, and she started working when she was young, family situations. So that bled out in the relationship. And so things started to transpire. One of them, which was spiritual of nature, was an entity. I came into contact with a dark spirit, which manifested itself in the apartment we were sharing at the time, right? And this was during my desk job, that period. And so, you know, also being around toxic people, her friends, my friends, I'm not blaming anyone. I'm letting you know, just the steps, right? And so in these there, I found myself in dark spaces. We split, we fought verbally. You know, I've been subject to abuse by a woman because I don't put hands on a woman. That's just not my style. I'd rather just take a meditational walk, you know. But from where his culture was from, you taking a walk means that you're not fighting for the relationship. So that for me is a narcissistic tendency coming from a wound of abandonment. If you leave, that means you're going and you're gone, not you're going to take a break. Where I am, you know, where I come from, okay? And so this was super weird for me to comprehend. I gave in at some stages. At some stage also, I did start going out with her friends also, my friends, drinking a little bit too much, staying out when you're not meant to, you know, being around the wrong guys, starting to think the wrong thoughts, finding myself in spaces which I had no idea or no business being at, right? And so when I was, you know, let me just backtrack one step. When I was 17, 18, my friend passed away. He, coming from a great family, but he hung himself in his house. And this was the night just before we all saw each other. And he was one of those happy, smiley, chappy outside, but inside, clearly, you know. So this is also part of why I do what I do with the conscious men community. But yeah, now going back forward.
Someone is wondering, I wonder if the audio would be better without earphones. I don't know. I feel like with the earphones it's better, but you can try again and see.
If I remove the earphones, I believe it's going to echo.
Okay. Yeah, like it's the audio is still a little bit like not so clear. And do you have those plugins like earphones?
Yeah, I've got plugins. Should I try the plug-in one?
Yeah, maybe try those.
Okay.
Yeah, and
it's
so interesting you talked about like abandonment and the cultural beliefs, because that's something like that we have in common when it comes to that. Like also, which is really true because of our cultures and, you know, where we are born and raised and who we have around us, we end up to be programmed to be what, you know, society expects us to be, what they think we should be. You should be like this and like that, you know, which becomes normal. And in the end, it's like growing up, we are not given that space to really be ourselves because we're told how to be a certain way. So can you imagine that programming that then you have from childhood and you're growing into this adult of really not knowing who you truly are as a person because you've been taught by society, by culture, by beliefs, and also other people's beliefs, you know, dumping all these, their thoughts, their beliefs onto you, then you take those on and you just go through life like that without really tuning in and going within, and you're like, who am I as an individual? Without any of these external, you know, sources or factors, like who am I as a soul?
Indeed.
Like it's so important for us to come back to remembering that we as souls are in these bodies. Of course, as a soul, we choose where we are born for different soul journeys and paths. Then you choose your family because there's karma there. You choose your friends, the community, because there's karma there. That there's ways you get to grow from that experience. But also it's really important to really like know that, okay, I'm this divine soul in this body, in this beautiful vessel, and really connecting with that soul, because the more we do that, the more we end up really remembering, not even like learning. It's like just remembering, right? It's just simple to remember, right? But then we got to put in the work, which is the healing. And that's the tough part, because it is not easy. Like you know, as much as I know, it's not easy.
Yeah.
Like it's really.
Just before I continue, does that sound much better?
Oh, awesome.
Is
Yes. Yeah.
Because, you know, you have to hear me clearly, because I can paint the pictures for you very, very nicely. It's also one of the gifts I've unlocked through DNA. Funny, we'll get to that. Talking about waters within. So just to finish off about me, which I never love to speak about. However, as you are alluding to, these are what will connect us on a human being level, not a human being, on a human level, because apparently in one of the law dictionaries, human being means monster. Okay, research that, please. Write it down. It's the actual law which we practice. So in a court of law, if you identify as a human being, you can be identified as an animal or a monster. Scary
No,
stuff.
I did not know that. Uh-huh.
Well,
I'm not a human being. Then I'm not a human being. No.
See, information is free. Wisdom is power. Knowledge is key. Okay?
Yeah.
So it's what you do with it. And this is what we're saying. We're doing something with this knowledge that we have and this wisdom because we've been through it, right? And going through it and going through so many dips make you so powerful because you know the depths of your soul. When you're able to know the depths of your soul, just like an iceberg, right, which sunk the Titanic, it's just the tip which people saw and they were like, wow, that's massive. If you had to go underneath and go in, the enormity of that, right? And so this is what I started to discover. I started to discover the depths of myself, right? And I'm just checking this question.
Oh, okay. There's a question. So is this the correct noun, spiritual being, or would we correctly identify?
There's no such thing as correct. For me, I spell the way and I'll explain to you why. All got to do with water, the healing power of water, and also because we are, at any given moment, 70 to 90% water. Yeah. When you breathe, breath means spirit, spirar. So when you say spirit, you're actually breathing because you can stop eating, cessation of food for weeks, years, forever. You can stop water or liquids for a certain time. You can stop only structured waters for a shorter time. You can go dry for an even shorter time, but you can go how long without breath?
Yeah, the breath is really key. Like the moment the breath is gone, that's it, right? So
that's your spirit. Yeah, they've actually measured it. There's tests which they do. You can actually search this on YouTube, do your own research, check it out. Okay, that when the spirit leaves the vessel, someone with a soul, it detaches and it weighs a certain amount of grams. I think it's like 1.1, 1.2, or point something. You can actually measure it. It's got weight in this dimension. However, it's weightless, timeless, it's eternal.
Yeah, eternal.
Breath.
Yeah, and we also forget that we are eternal. Yeah,
that's the spiritual being.
The spiritual being that's eternal, omnipresent, you know.
The Alpha, the
Coming
Omega.
Back to remembering that.
Oh, exact. There we go. So, you know, just to quickly now finish off and then we can jump into this. I also have some nice notes so that I don't, because I can just go for hours. Yeah. Right? So all of these triggers, all of these moments of darkness, of shadow, right? I learned that once I faced it, I had answers. I found perceptions and angles, which are angels, depending on the way the light is refracting, is bending the information, information, you forming info within you, within the cells, within the brain, within everything which is you, your entire being, right? And so as I was forming these and unlocking and starting to do more healing and releasing myself from, detaching from the system, which made me what I was to that point, then I started to unlearn. I literally went 180 of everything which brought me pain. And I was like, all right, cool. Pain is cool, but I'm done suffering. How can I have beautiful pain? Because once again, if we are always growing, if we're always evolving, there's always going to be pain. However, what type of pain are we talking? Okay. And so I stopped wanting to experience and therefore experience pain of suffering because I'm now conscious or becoming conscious, right? As soon as I started to tap into consciousness on certain levels, started to play on those levels of consciousness, I was unlocking parts of me which were what I used to love when I was a child.
Wow.
Like almost like, you know, where I went back to writing, always been good at languages, learning them. As I said, since I picked up information technology, I can decode a lot of things. I can simplify the most complex of web. Just give me 2 seconds. I'll be back. Boom. Because now I know the power of going within, especially in meditative states, not just meditative, fasted states, but fasted on a higher level, on a level which there's levels to everything, and we all moving through. So it's not just fasting now where it started as, okay, I'm going to clean my programming out. So I'm going to tap into my cells to heal the self and therefore tap into the self, which is the higher one. The version of you which is always prompting you, oh, don't go there. That's your favorite color. That's why this is happening. But it's disguised as all of these pains, growing pains. Right? You feel where I'm coming from, right? And so when I started to tap into especially regularly fasting, I didn't know what I was doing at the time. I tapped into what we call the full moon. Now it's the 72-hour water only full moon fast. What I didn't know at the time was that the full moon itself illuminates and opens a portal of certain energy. What energy? The energy which is your shadow. The rejection as a child between 0 and 7, especially the programming age. Your traumas, your heartbreaks, everything amalgamated, your DNA, your genes, because it's also within waters, within. Okay? So these things become brought to the surface. Hence why on a full moon, there's a lot more ambulances out, there's a lot more police, there's a lot more altercations, because the shadow is trying to express itself. But it has no
I'm
idea how.
Here I am. Don't forget me. I exist. You cannot have the light without the shadow. The yin and the yang, masculine, divine. And so many times we tend to forget the shadow. It's like, I'm just going to be light. No, you got to deal with those shadows. Like, you have to. Otherwise, they're always going to be there anyways. So you might as well start processing and working with them right now.
Exactly. And that's what I did. This is why at the time, just starting to believe in my own self, since I was separating from people, places, and things, opened more space for me to start to explore myself, meaning the mind, what is in my heart, because my heart was relatively closed. I had to open it, believe it or not. It wasn't just like, oh, this guy is loving. It takes work. You've got to work. You must. Because it's not enough to live vicariously through anymore. That's the age of Pisces and the ages before us. The age of Aquarius is fixed air, which means that truth will stand true, whether you like it or not, because it's breath. It's all about spirit. You can't hide anything from spirit. So your spirit is prompting you, is prompting us through various energies, which I started to feel. As I said, I'm writing in my books, especially what the shift is happening between 1999 and 2055. Okay, these prompts have been happening. Like I said, you know, you have 1999 itself, 2002. You've got 2008. You've got 2012. You've got 2016, 17. You've got 2020. There's more. 2020, 2025, 26. Whoa. Just write that down and please prepare yourself. Please.
We really, really have to be prepared.
This
like,
is, yeah,
like
it's not a joke.
collectively,
Yeah.
collectively,
Do the work.
have to. And
do the work.
yeah, it's going to be very vital, very, very important. And for me, I think that like also doing the work, like it's, as much as it's difficult, it's totally worth it, because when you do this work on yourself, like when you focus on like shifting and doing your own healing, and like, let me remember who I am, like everyone around you benefits. Like it's just that ripple effects that is so amazing. And sometimes I'm like, I wish everyone would really, if you want to change the world, like here's your opportunity. You know what I mean? You think, oh, I want to make a world a better place. It's like, you can do it. Start by doing the work internally. Start with yourself, because then you get to do that. Otherwise, if we don't, then it's just going to be, in that same cycle. We repeat the patterns and we end up, sending, shifting those or transmitting that to our coming generation. Like if we don't do it, then it's going to be passed on to our kids, then their grandkids, and it goes on, which is why when you step into and say, okay, I'm going to be responsible, I'm going to do this healing, that's why you're healing, like you're not just for yourself, but the entire generation, because you're unlearning, like you mentioned, you came to a place of unlearning, which is also important, like unlearning and learning all over again, and remembering. You said all those things came back to you that you liked to do as a child, like writing. Well, before you were doing this 9 to 5 and, everything that was happening for you, and you weren't in a place where you could tap into your inner child, that creativity part of you. But when you started peeling all those layers, shedding, healing, doing the shadow work, everything, then it's like, ooh, the remembrance came back. So imagine, like, just for a moment, if everyone did this, what the world would be like.
Funny you say that. I always in meditations, especially, I always just I push energy towards it, because it's all about the unification.
Me too.
When you are unified within and you're healthy within, naturally you want to give it out. Naturally you want people around you to be healthy, but unnaturally is forcing. Force is not a natural part of nature. You never see anything forcing itself to grow. Why would you force another being or even yourself to grow? If you're not ready, you're not ready. If this is not your time, it's not your time. If you don't know the season, you don't know the season. If it's still confusing, then it's for a reason. Simple. You don't have to fight anything, because when you fight outside, within there's things within you that are fighting. What is fighting? What are you fighting yourself about? Because we're all mirrors, not just of each other, externally. What we project is what we have within. Because water has memory. So if you look at Luc Montagnier, have a look at Luc Montagnier. What he did was he won a Nobel laureate, right? For doing an experiment of transmuting DNA within water into another, enclosed fully, not even open, transmuting that DNA's code fully into a glass of water next to it, fully sealed, with just purified, structured water. That memory transferred into that. And then they did the test, and it had the full DNA sequence.
Yeah, there you go.
What?
Voila.
What?
Voila.
If you sit with that there, everything will begin to start to make sense about being a self-development coach. CellPH, the alkalinity, acid or alkaline. Okay? And also, especially your biggest crystal, which is your blood crystal. But we'll get into that just now. That's a bit deeper. Okay, that's levels and layers. Metaphysically, because science won't explain everything. Philosophy won't explain just everything. However, metaphysics is what you call spirituality and magic, or science of magic. Magic is simply that science which you don't understand, overstand, or understand. You don't know where it's coming from. You have no reference point. So when you have no reference point, similar to what's happening now with this awakening, no one has a real reference point. But some of us have the codes because we have done the work to remember why we're here. We're all here on a certain mission. We're all here on a mission.
Yes.
And that memory is housed in your waters. Hence why they're destroying water. Hence why they're making you drink tap water. The reason why tap water and man-made water systems are dead is because they're always moving on an unnatural right angle turns. Nothing in nature is straight and right angled. It doesn't exist in nature. Everything is always a beautiful curve. It's got a geometry. Oops, wow. It's got a very nice flow. It's always flowing, least resistance. However, paradoxically, it has power because it can wear away rock over time, which is the persistence of nature. Nature will always outlast a man-made construct. Okay?
Oh, yes.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and the part, like the memory of water, which is why I love to, like, of course, the whole thing of like you drink water and just speak to it, right? Don't just drink it. Likewise, anything you put into your body, you should just speak to.
Thank you.
You know, put in the love, chant a mantra over it, an affirmation, something like that, and then drink it, because then, if we're like made of water, then imagine, right? You're just absorbing and feeling like nourishing. You're nourishing yourself, your cells. You're nourishing yourself with that love. If it's love you're speaking to, you're talking, like saying, oh, I love your water, thank you. And also giving thanks to it is really important.
Of course. It's one of the most important. Yes. Everything. Even give thanks to yourself when you awaken, when you arise. Remember, this is a beautiful code for you. It's a beautiful being for you. Who is the only one that you speak to and spend time with your entire life?
Yourself.
Okay, right there. Who is the only one of your cells that can hear your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, what you want to do, your desires? So when you become conscious of what you speak into your waters and the waters externally, eventually become a part of your DNA. Remember, we just spoke about Luc Montagnier. If you want to do some research, it's spelled L-U-C, Luc Montagnier, M-O-N-T-A-G-N-I-E-R. Montagnier. He's French. He also did some beautiful things on discovering things about the HIV virus, okay? Autoimmunity, which we can also get to. And once again, all of these diseases are just your cells not in harmony. They're not flowing. There's too much man-made angles, which are not natural for conducive of flow. That's just to simplify it for you.
Yeah, and I mean, when you speak about the man-made, like not just the water, but even the food, you know, especially in this where I am right now, you know, the food, it's like, oh man, let's just get back to living like our ancestors did. How about that? Just go out barefoot, go dig, grow your own crops, have, you know, set up your garden, have your animals, and do your own thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Indeed.
Because at least then you know what you're cultivating. You know, you're putting in that love into the food. Again, it comes to everything that you're putting into your vessel. Like, what's the quality? I mean, not just the food, but also the things we listen to, the programs we watch, the shows, right?
Yes.
That's also very, very important. Like, what shows what music are you listening to? Because also music heals. So with the frequency, like what frequency does the music have that you're listening to? Can either choose music that's just gonna get your mental state cuckoo out of it, or, you know, what music, you know? Like, so even that is very important. Like everything we are absorbing externally, like the music, the food, the water, the shows, it all plays a role on our lives, like everything, on our mental, spiritual overhaul, like holistic well-being.
Indeed, indeed. That's part of what we're unifying. This, we believe that we separated. It's spirit, mind, body, or what the man says, it's body, mind, spirit. That's backwards, because the spirit first, then becomes mind, mental plane, then becomes the physical. It's the most dense, right? When it comes to elemental alchemy, this is also part of your waters, because water, working with water is utilizing the element of water, but you're changing its structures via your, as you alluded to, vibrations. So different frequencies. It could be color spectrums, could be light spectrums, it could be all sorts of different vibrations of even spells, sigils, for example. This means water, ancient Egypt, one of my past lives.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Oh, nice, nice.
And this means wisdom.
Wow.
So this is part of the codes which I've also been able to bring back and send a vibration through me constantly. So this is also why tattoos are there. They didn't just start now. Indigenous Africans, South Americans, Australians, originals, because ab means to abhor the original. Check etymology, etymology.org or etymology.com. The root finding of words in the English language, which is Hebrew backwards, pretty much. That's another story for another day. Also, why
Okay.
we lock ourselves up, language. But where was I? Going back to frequencies, right? So everything you can, every time you put a frequency within you, it becomes you, or that you entertain, it becomes you. For example, just an everyday example, you always see that auntie that complains about the government. Every day, pa, 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 pa. That eventually will become a part of your frequency, whether you like it or not. Like they say, birds of a feather flock together, but also you become similar to the group of friends or people or culture you surround yourself with. It's because of the frequencies. We always giving and feeding frequencies, okay? Because what is air? What is oxygen? What is this? It's not just simply, it's a phase of water. Hence why it can send signals with your voice. It's a frequency carrier.
Yeah. So being mindful about what we speak, like really being mindful about what comes out of us. Like you said, we're sending the frequency. So
exactly. You see, when you start to perceive on these higher, more subtle levels, okay, everything that is a frequency starts to become noticeable. So what also has happened to me after unlocking traumas, blockages, is that certain amounts, certain codes of my DNA has started to unlock, because I have different abilities which I never once had. For example, if I'm in a place where there's a lot of Wi-Fi, a lot of electricity, and it's just pulsing a lot, or it's very dirty, it's not connected correct, I immediately can feel it. It comes as like pins and needles, scratchy itches. It's like something is pulling oxygen from me, but through my skin.
Wow. Oh, and imagine you were surrounded by all that.
But there's ways to give yourself grounded protection every day.
Every day, daily.
We're not slaves to or victims to anything. Whatever they have for you to be unwell, to be diseased, distorted, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things that you can implement naturally
Yeah.
assist you in becoming a better being. So
Oh,
at no stage must you.
speaking of Shivambu, we'll save that for another conversation.
Well,
Those
that
who
is
don't
plasma.
know, if you
That
know,
is
you
plasma.
know.
Yeah, if you know, you know. That's plasma. I mean, speaking of plasma, it's also a state of water. I don't know if you've heard this, but do some research. There's something called a. Please don't be angry if you think I'm speaking about you and you watch this, because I did see your video and it did spark it. It's called a vampire facial. Have you heard
A
of it?
vampire what?
A vampire facial.
Okay. Oh,
Vamp.
okay. Yes, 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 yes.
The ladies should know this. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Vampire
I
facial.
did some research and actually came across a couple of women, ladies that have been doing that. Like, you know, so yeah, that too. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay, please explain what a
yeah,
vampire
yeah.
facial is. Please explain what a vampire facial is, and then I can continue with plasma.
So
Just plasma.
yeah, the plasma. So the vampire facial basically are for the women with your cycles when it comes down to, I mean, this is like another conversation that I don't know if even people are ready to hear because I'm just like, whoa, so many people, again, because of the beliefs, the programming, like this, like, okay, this is like a conversation most women should actually, we should have. Seriously, because our moon cycle is like, our moon blood is very, very, like, really powerful. So that's part of the facial, right? And using, first of all, like really honoring it, you know, honoring our time during that cycle, which is key. Most women do not these days, and they complain, but it's like really honoring your time and using your moon blood as a facial because of the nutrients and everything. I mean, women, especially these women, have been spend so much money on makeup, on creams that are full of shit, like, which is affecting their hormones when they got the natural stuff going through, when they got their own natural plasma that they can use as a mask. So, and it's so interesting because everything is marketed towards women. I mean, the makeup industry is like insane. And honestly speaking, if women knew, okay, if not only women, but even men, because the shibambo can also be used as a face mask. You know, the shibambo and then the moon cycle blood as well for women can be used as a face mask. So women wouldn't be spending tons of money on all this stuff and doing all these things. But anyways, as we know, certain parties like to benefit financially. So that's why this knowledge has been hidden. But again, society, yes, society has made women ashamed of their time of the month. I know, right? That's why I said this is a conversation like women. We, as women, we need to sit and remember that even before things changed, when during this time of the month, women came together under a red tent and they were like celebrated. The men used to cook for them, do everything for them, and that time was dedicated for the woman to just sit under the red tent, gather, relax, and this is really important. The intuition during that time was known to be the highest. So, ladies, if you're a lady and you're watching and listening during your moon cycle, when you're having your period, that's when your intuition is really the highest. Like, that's when you tune into your gut, connect with your body, like really, really get a practice around your time of the month. And most times women I know are like, I got cramps, and then they're angry, and then they have all these mood swings, and they feel like they don't even appreciate their bodies. They're like, oh my God, I gotta go through this again. But it's like, my sisters, honor yourself, like honor yourself during this time. Like, how amazing is it that your body like can do these things? Like, seriously, from the
hormones inside there, when you know what you are doing, because once again, the reason why I asked you to explain what a vampire facial is because in Hollywood, the society, the system, what they do is they will draw your blood, they will take a centrifuge and spin it, and then separate the platelets, the white blood cells, from the plasma, and then take out the plasma and inject that into your face.
Well, you could do it for free. You don't have to be spending any money. You should just do it for free. You get your moon cycle, just do that. Get some of it on. Do the mask free of charge.
There's multiple things you can do.
How much money people are spending, like tons of money, because they're doing it in Hollywood and spending all that money. And it's like, you're a woman. You got your thing flowing. Use it. And also, it's very good for the plants. Like, not just that.
Not just that. It's nourishing because of the hormones, the mineral salts. That is why over your cycle, right? Because I work with women who fasted with me before and miraculous things have happened. Amazing, mwah, beautiful things, right? It removes hormones from you. Hence why the hormones which stabilize your mental plane, you see, they're not there. And so that's why your glands are not secreting those hormones, because your organs are now not being saturated with the liquids, the correct fuel, the correct waters. So there's ways and there's ways to do it naturally, even in African, with the Zulus. We can talk about the water culture, in our cultures. Yeah, we can talk about the water beings just now, the normal. However, during that period, like you said, the men would cook for the women. They would put them under the red tent and just honor them, right? And in that also, there was such a ceremony as little girls having a rite of passage, meaning all of the women of the village, of the community, would assist her and be there for her and bring her through it. You see, it's similar to like with the men, bringing them into manlyhood. You need a man.
Honoring.
Exactly. The
divine feminine.
There you go.
Honoring the divine feminine. Someone is asking, how long do you leave it on? So you can leave it on for 5 to 10 minutes. It's up to you. Like, you can leave it on the entire, like when you're going to bed, you could leave it on the whole night. And how do you collect it? So using a diva cup. And if you've been using tampons and pads, that stuff is like really not good for you. So I think,
it's poison,
because of the GMO,
the coating, the stuff, the sprays, the chemicals, yes,
everything. So do not insert that. I mean, if you have to, at the end of the day, we're here to share the knowledge, but at the end of the day, everyone makes their decision. But just to let you know, you can use a diva cup to collect it. And, even if you have any plants in the house, you can just pour it in some water, mix it, and just water your plants. You can do a ceremony with it. Like, I have a backyard and there's a tree here. So I collect it and give it back to Mother Nature. Of course, after applying some on my face, my call to do so, but also just giving it back to Mother Nature, and just like feeding my tree. And that's what I'm saying, women have been socialized to deny their power. Yes, for thousands of years, but we are so powerful, ladies, like really powerful. And it's because they know how powerful we are that we have been lied to and deceived and told all these things just because they know how powerful we are. And if we tapped into our divine feminine power, like a lot could happen. I mean, talk about like even Eve itself in the Bible, like how the whole story got twisted. But anyways, we'll get into that's for another time. So thank you so much for sharing. Blood work has been heavy on my spirit, so this is on time for me. Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, and you can do more research about it if you're interested. There's a couple of videos you can find about the red tent. I can also share some information with you. If you can send me, that is Shadow Work Tarot. Yeah, if you can send me a DM, I will send you a link to an amazing video of these beautiful women who just talk more in depth about the whole cycle. And not just that, but also working just like we work with the cycles, with the moon cycles regularly, the full moon, and as women, I mean, men too, you have your cycles too. Like, it's also very important to work with our own cycles. Like, let's say, like you're ovulating, understanding yourself, how you're feeling on an energetic level during that time. Like, really starting to track, when you're tracking your cycle, starting to track what is happening to your body, like mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And then there are ways you can work around that to have a more successful life. You're like, okay, if you, let's say you have a business or whatever, you know, you can work with your natural cycle to know when, for example, you're going to launch a program. It's like, oh, this is the fertile time. You know when you're going to plant those seeds during your cycle. Like, you know, okay, it's fertility time. I'm going to plant those seeds and I'm going to be reaping them, like, you know. So it's also very important to learn how to work with our cycles, not just the moon cycles, but even like the personal moon cycles. You're very welcome.
Interesting that you mentioned cycles now, because that will take us back to my 72-hour water only full moon fast method, and fasting for 72 hours over the full moon period. You know, similar to like what you're saying with your cycle. There are 3-day cycles also when the moon is in your sun sign. That is when you're able to do a lot of kundalini work, because your channels are ripe for that type of work. Also, depending on how clean and clear and clarified your vessel is, because once again, your temple also must be, you need to clear it. You need to clean the pipes. And everything starts in the guts. So with my method, it's multidimensional. Of course, you can go ahead and fast. Of course, you can do your own thing. Go for it. But with my method, if you do choose or do decide one day to try it out, this is how it works. Now I know how it works. It's aligning your shadow self, meaning the traumatized, blocked, diseased, disregarded, distorted, physical, spiritual, and mental parts of you. Illumination via the moon matrix, which is an energy source. It's a plasma type of source, right? Stories for other days. Please don't debate me. Please do your own research, or we can do the teachings, okay? I do offer these teachings, right? So in those 3 days, you have the opportunity to switch off your engine, which is the house of ingestion, excretion, processing of power, energy. Everything happens in this much space of your torso, which is your gut. Okay, your colon, your liver, your pancreas, your cleaning system, which is your kidneys, filtration system. Okay, but especially your colon, your small intestine, big intestine. All right. There are so many neurons. The network is like a brain. It's a second brain. Well, you have 3 brain type networks within you. You've got this brain, this neural network. Then you've got your thymus network, which is your heart network. Then you've got your gut network, which is your gut brain. They don't teach you this. So these interact especially through your energy centers. You see why it needs to be cleared on the physical? Because then, as the spirit came in, spirit, mind, body, into dense, you are now, you de-densifying yourself. Is that even a spell? I don't care. You're making yourself not dense any longer. You're lightening your beingness so that you have more greater mental space for processing power, for intentional thought, and also for magnetic emotions, which are reciprocal. They are feminine in nature, which is the part of the brain or the mind which society, the patriarchal system, top-down structure, boss at the top and everyone down underneath, has been built off, which is the system we see crumbling. It's also crumbling within us. Okay? That is the separation. So now we go to the guts. Once you start to cleanse and clear and clarify over these 3 days, 72 hours, you have a method which I impart you, which includes a PDF of instructions, okay, and then sound frequencies. So now we're tapping into vibrations, sound frequencies, and also affirmations. So learning how to speak self-talk. Self-talk is the most important thing for you to begin to align your thoughts with your thoughts, not the frequencies which are controlled by the system. Because most radio waves are controlled by a system. Hence why you can tune into radio 1 point, and who do you think controls that? All of these towers, all of these are points of network points, like your neural networks. They're points of power, and then they send energy to each other. You see? On those frequency bands to be picked up. It's also similar to Wi-Fi, okay? Also, your consciousness can do that. You're a transceiver up here. So, when your guts are clean, to a certain point, first it's going to be painful. You're going to go through the first 3 chakras, right? The lower dantian, the engine, the seat of power. So first it's the root, then it's the sacral, then it's the solar, right? This is all concerned with safety, ego, control, all of these lower base level animalistic monster type traits, which an unconscious being will exhibit, meaning they're very selfish, they're angry all the time, they're greedy. So these are the 7 deadly sins. Think 7 deadly sins. They only think about their pockets. There's no humanity. There's nothing which says unify. It's all separation, because they within are separated. So those first 3 chakras are dealt with when you first fast those 3 days. You start to realize the first of those 7 deadly sins, which is that you are a glutton. You consume way too much artificial, because when you consume
especially here in North America, oh my God, like
non-stop
eating. I know, I'm not, but like, come on, it's like seriously, oh my God, it's insane. It's insane, really, non-stop. But also it comes down to people not processing their emotions. So each time somebody like, I'm gonna grab something to eat, I'm gonna so you gotta do the work. Yeah,
there it is. You see, you're starting to piece it together, just simplifying it, right? So you encounter the 7 deadly sins on different levels on the physical plane. Boom. And then on top of that, since the full moon is illuminating, especially not just illuminating, all of these astrological angles, meaning sacred geometry, also the way they aligned with the geomagnetic forces of the planet, of the sun, of the inner sun, of Gaia herself. Everything is interacting, but when there's certain alignments or when things come to pass, there's a burst of energy, and you can experience that as a anxiety or as a depression because of the fact that you have so many blockages. You see?
Yeah.
Those blockages are what keep you in cycles of being comfortable with your ego mind, your shadow. And these are the parts of you which have been rejected. Every single part of it is a rejection of some way, shape, and form or fashion, which means that your waters have registered whether you were angry in eating, angry in drinking water, not drinking the right water, you had a fight, then you did this, and then you started to pick up these habitual moments of nature relating to a trauma. So addictions start that way. Everyone believes that simply drugs is an addiction. It's also eating, it's watching, it's scrolling, it's food, it's anything that you must do in order to do something else.
Yeah.
You're not
Someone said, my sister, 20 years ago, I did a 56-day fast. It was very eye-opening. We definitely consumed way too much. of everything. Yeah. Like, yeah, addiction can be anything, even just scrolling. So yeah, it's too much.
Yeah, but only when you step out of yourself, you become the observer. You then like, wow, so that is what I've been programmed to do, automatically, just to destroy myself. Literally, that's what we're doing. It's called slow poison. That's why there's the uprise in things such as cancers. There's going to be a lot of things which also nature will look like it's doing wrong to you. However, you're not clean, and therefore it's going to have to get rid of you. Similar to you as a cell with cells within you, if they're cancers, then they have to get rid of because they are causing disease. So we are cells on the body of Gaia, and if you are cancerous, you will be removed, whether that's by forceful ejection, whether that's by your own doing, whether that's by not changing your mindset, changing your eating, your programming. All of it is reprogramming your waters within, physically, mentally, emotionally, and then inviting your eternal spirit to give you more guidance to your soul's mission, your soul's purpose, your passion, and how you play every day.
Yeah. So I'm actually interested in doing this fast with you. I've been doing, like, okay, this year I haven't done it, but I was doing a fast at the beginning of every month, because it's like, for me, it's like, okay, it's the beginning of the month. I need to like give my body a break, enough of the digestion and, you know, the eating and stuff like that. But it makes sense to do it during the full moon. And this is something that I didn't know, that this is when the shadow is really, so when you fast, combining the two. So I'm definitely interested in doing the coming water fast with you, and, you know, if we could like share the experience, because it's going to be my first time doing it this way with someone. I've been doing it on my own. I've had my own practices around, but I'll definitely love to do it with you, which I find even makes it easier when you're doing it collectively. It's even more powerful, and you're supporting each other, right? Like we're supporting, yeah.
I mean, you can have the choice to, because sometimes it's some people really want to go inside. It's similar to taking a plant medicine or plant healing journey. You really go within and you start to witness what it is that's making you the way you are. What is it that's giving you all of these distortions? So it's a time, you know, some people love to have the group interactions every now and again. Otherwise, you do have me. We do consult, you know, once a day just to check in. And then also because you have the method, but also if you'd love extra, you know, take on extra some of my services, it's beautiful to add those in and around the full moon, in when you're doing this work. If you want to dive deep into your shadow and you would love some consultation for some techniques or whatever the case may be, it's powerful, because as you can see, I'm a testimony of my own work, of also the work and the selflessness which I've become and what I do, right? It's a part of my being. And so if you go onto my YouTube channel, you can see when I started fasting, oh, painful. And also I had not as much energy, wasn't as much vitality, because I had to first unlearn and remove. So people are scared of also the detox phase. Detoxing is not fun. Detoxing is not fun.
It's just like when I started doing Shivambu the first time, like I went full board. First time doing Shivambu, and I was like, which I should have started slow. The detox was really tough. But also a question, so during this 72-hour fast, are you using Shivambu as well? Because from people that have done the fast, the people who just be looping Shivambu throughout, and they've mentioned that it's also really very powerful to do it during the fast, like looping.
Yes. I'll give you more tips on that, but definitely. Once again, Shivambu is plasma. Plasma is actually 55% composed in the blood. Plasma is 55% of the total amount of blood. The rest is white blood cells, red blood cells, and platelets. White blood cells, protection, defense. Red blood cells, O2, oxygen, delivery, boom, 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 boom. Platelets, coagulation, blocking of wounds, anywhere where there needs to be just repair. Okay? That's what gives the wounding the scabs. The rest of it is 55% plasma. In plasma, 92% of that is just structured water. The other 8% is comprised of things like urea, which is in skin products, women, okay? There's stem cells, there's hormones, all sorts of hormones. And these are hormones which are already tailored to your DNA.
Yeah.
It's already structured for you. It's ready. Also,
it's structured water.
Pick up your vibration, pick up the waters, and also I give these techniques teaching how to raise your own inner vibration. What starts to happen is you will start to feel like you know when you drop a pebble in water, it goes and it ripples. You start to have that within you. It happens to me all the time, but now I'm able to induce it. What that is all your cells are talking from an instruction, the same instruction. So you can start to consciously induce a healing of certain places within your vessel, certain traumas. You can start to astral, dream world, go into these areas because you have the space to. You're allowing more light into your darkness. Your crystal is now cleansing, becoming cleansed, clarified, your blood crystal, which means that you can, start to tap into the rest of yourself through your cells, right? This crystal also, once you fix your thoughts, you clean your traumas, you become as light up here as possible. You let go, even if it's family, even if it's whatever the case may be, for your highest good, because if you keep it there, you will eventually get disease. So it's not.
I know. That's so true. Like, and you know, it's just amazing. We are so powerful that we don't even know it, or even afraid of our power. That too. I mean, sometimes we're afraid of how powerful we are, because if we remember how powerful we really are, it's like, wow, we're this powerful. Because, like you said, then you start commanding your cells, and you can direct intentionally, speak to them, astral travel, and go into those parts where the healing is needed within your vessel.
There you go.
If everyone knew this, it's like, wow, I'm so powerful. You know, an affirmation I always tell my daughter is every night putting her to bed, we have this thing, but I'm always like, your body can heal itself. I'm always like, yeah, you know, I'm starting to teach her this like at a young age, because it is like, she's powerful. We all are.
Yes.
I mean, if you have a karmic debt to get a certain disease and it's part of your karma, you know, then that's, you know, sometimes it's meant to be that way, that there's this karma that you gotta learn from the experience. There's also that, but either way, whether you heal yourself like physically or not, like it's still our journey, and as souls, we're all here to learn, evolve, grow. So I don't think there's anything that is right or wrong.
I love what you're saying. There's no such thing as right or wrong. There's no such thing as perfection. There's only such thing as progress and regression. Where are you within your own cells, and therefore your own self, right? This is important. It's imperative. Introspection, because when you go inside, as you alluded to, you start to command your cells. So anything where they said, oh, you're genetically predisposed to this, you are going to get this cancer by this, that doesn't exist, right? Remember, that's a program. And you can unlearn and relearn and program yourself, because now things are becoming automatic. Things have become automatic. And also with unlocking your DNA, which is beautiful, your strands of DNA, junk DNA. Once again, the system will always perpetuate a negative inverse of the truth. The truth is always within, okay? And generational ancestral curses, that doesn't exist. What exists is the thoughts, the emotions, and the belief, because the belief means you don't know. If you really go into subtle levels, high and high, when you say, I believe. I don't use that any longer. However, for certain levels of consciousness, it's imperative that you believe. Because when you believe, it means you don't know. But when you start operating from a place of knowing, which means that you're operating from your heart space, you got a heart-mind coherence. There's a knowing. It's intuition on steroids. It's like what we alluded to. At certain times of your moon cycle, ladies, your intuition is heightened. It's powerful, but you can harness it. You can harness the waters within. There's multiple structures of water, because what structured waters are and why they can hold memory, before we forget about the main purpose of water and how it holds memory, is because the vibration will hold a frequency. It will hold a shape. If you look at cymatics, if you just research on YouTube, cymatics, cymatics, right? They reverb sounds, frequencies through water, through salt, and it makes different patterns. So when you have a structured, ordered water, okay, it's got a spin, it's got the corrective, well, not correct, because there's no such thing as correct. It's got beautiful energy, okay, of structure, meaning that it's either a hexagon, or it's a pentagon type shape, or it's an octagon, or it's a decagon, or it's 3 hexagons together. It's different structures together, right? And those different structures hold memory. Different cells are structured differently because of their memory. You can get a stem cell, and your own auto stem cell therapy, which is also part of the Shivambu practice, right? Uropathy, auto stem cell therapy. So what that is your organs, your cells are in different structured cells, different memory structures of water. So crystallized water, you are crystallized elements. But the main element holding you together and housing all of those elements and housing all of the information which makes you up, which is a crystallized being, crystalline being, okay, is the structure of your waters. So when you take command of the vibrational frequencies, especially the waters within, it will always start with fasting. Become one with water. Know where you're getting your water from. Speak power into your water, because then also start to go into higher practices. Start to go into more and more and more and more natural structured waters. Also juicing. That's why juicing is powerful. Juice of fruits is structured waters. It's already in a certain structure. Different fruits have different structures. That's why they make different colors, different vibrations. Those all interact with your vessel on an energetic level, not just physically, but mentally, as well as spiritually. Hence why they're different colors. Your organs make sounds, vibrations, when they are in harmony. Hence why homeostasis, balance. So when you are unbalanced, your chakra wheels are turning at the correct frequency. You command it for receiving information, informing yourself, your cells of this light codes, these frequencies. And so when you don't pick them up, when you reject this work, what will begin to happen is nature will begin to fight you. That will look like cancers. It will look like autoimmune diseases. It will look like all of these things popping up. And I do speak about this. I write about this in my book, What the Shift is Happening Between 1999 and 2055. I also teach these things, right? Because the more we become self-aware of our awareness, we become selfless in our awareness. We become therefore able to bring and call forth that heaven on earth. That's Christ's second coming. That is the Kundalini rising. That is tapping into your waters. The only way the Kundalini rises is through water. Through your vagus nerve.
But you've mentioned Kundalini, and it's so interesting because at the same time people are so afraid of like hearing Kundalini rising, which comes down to the programming. And because there's people who are like, oh my God, this person had a Kundalini awakening or rising, and then they were getting crazy, and then they were doing all these things, and then they didn't want to talk to anyone. But again, it's just that fear that people have. But I think, like, if you haven't really done the work, of course, like with everything, like if you haven't done the work and bang, you're just like, oh, my Kundalini says, like, it's going to be tough. Like, even just regular healing is tough. Like, you're going to go through those emotions and you're going to be triggered. There may be some triggers happening. So it's very nice that you stay during a fast, and really clearing and cleansing yourself will then actually make the process easier, like even with that Kundalini rising, because you're already a clear vessel. You're physically, mentally, like all clear, you're a clear channel, you've prepared your vessel too, which is really, really key to detox all the junk. Like, really, like, imagine, like, it's 360 days in a year. If you're eating every single day of the year and you're eating processed foods, like,
no good, no good. You're blocking up your system. You spoke about the engine.
You gotta take a pause.
You've
because even the colon is not completely empty. Like,
it takes days for it to completely empty, especially if you're new to fasting, you know. Also, look at taking up intermittent fasting. Once again, you can start somewhere, but just start, you know, just start.
Yeah.
Because once again, those 365 days a year will disappear, because what is time any longer? Come on, we're all witnessing it. It's a quickening. So you must also keep up with the quickening. Keep up, or you must be ejected from the game. Funny enough, it is a game that we're playing on another level of consciousness, if you're able to perceive that, right? We're all here to play a role in this mission that we're here to guide into a new a civilization. Okay, we are mutating in the flesh. That is why this has never happened, and no one will speak about this, because once again, it's either censorship, or they're scared, or they don't know what's happening. So some of us have these codes. They're coming through us more and more and more. So I'm finding it more and more difficult to keep up with this information. So all I do is I write notes. Whenever the time is divine, I have the space, and I belt it out. You know, and this is also what it is. The divine time for us to heal was yesterday, the day before that. But we're not blaming ourselves. What we are saying is, let us begin. Where we are with what we have, you don't need any money. You don't need
never too late
to fast, to go within. Remember, to elevate your consciousness, you do not need anyone. There's so much already free stuff. If you want to focus, however, if you want to tap into deeper layers and levels, you might have to invest in a mentor. You might have to take the time out and say, you know what, I'm not going to go and have that alcohol, have that drugs, or think about, go womanize, whatever the case may be, that the system has us, caught up in. And let me invest in my health, because health will become wealth, and you will find it very soon, super soon, that energy is actually currency. So the less energy you have, the less currency you're able to make.
Yeah, that's so true.
We're going to
so then it's all about
we're going to a world of skills.
That energy.
Exactly. Learn what skills you have, because when the system breaks down properly, do you know even how to make a fire?
Well, most people don't know how to make. I grew up making working with a jiko, like back in Africa, in Uganda, you're right on your knees and you're blowing. Because, and also that's very important that you've mentioned that, because it's really important, especially like in North America, the first world, whatever you want to refer it to, that most people don't have the skills. Lighting a fire, in countries where it's winter,
purifying your water.
The excellent people may not even know how to make a meal, how to cook, because they're ordering on Uber Eats, they're eating out, going to restaurants all the time. And it's like, hello, people don't even know where their beef or chicken comes from. They don't know that, that was, I'm just people relying on Uber Eats. Like it's
It's
like
sad.
get
It's
back to
sad.
these
Yeah.
simple things, because this is powerful. Those skills, like having these skills of I can light a fire. Can you survival skills? Let's just put it that way. Survival skills.
Let's not put any negative connotations on any spells. Let's just say, do you know how to be in nature naturally? So how
Yeah.
long will
Do you
it
know
take
how
until
to be?
if the lights went off, everything off? Everything that you know about the westernized civilization is off now, today.
Can you survive? How are you going to?
What are you doing? That's what I'm saying. What are you doing?
Mm,
Who do you
you
know?
know,
Who can you? Are you making communities? You see, this is where they are going to try and trap you into a totalitarian, more control, boxed in, matchbox type of living, where it's controlled by AI. Yes, technology is cool, but don't allow it to control you. Because we're
yeah,
already at a space where technology, we can interface with it, but it's not taking over. Slowly, you can see where it is by things such as TikTok. Wait, I'm not saying anything negative about the platform, beautiful platform. If you know the reach you can have, if you know
yeah,
the tools, the power you can have of voice to help your fellow beings, to impart knowledge, to say, you know what, this is what we're doing here. You're looking to move here, we have this that's happening. Starting to make and cultivate naturally, okay, these communities, because that is what is in
oh yeah,
community. There's unity in there. We're looking to
you,
unify. So when you unify yourself, automatically outside we're looking to unify, okay? And similar to
yeah,
unifying your mind, unifying your divine masculine, divine feminine into the center, which is the Christ second coming in the seat, right? The crystal up here,
yeah,
which is also suspended in liquids, right? Which is, we spoke about the Kundalini rising, right? All of this is all one because we are all one, and the one
one,
is all.
yeah,
It's Alpha Omega.
oneness,
It's oneness. You see, and
and we're
so
all connected.
there you go. Let's start behaving like it. I mean, 2020 was the Great Awakening because it took people
Oh,
to two different
oh
extremes.
yeah,
It took
yeah,
pulled people. First and foremost, lockdown for 2 weeks. Oh, cool. Yes, I've got a nice rest. Stay home, stay safe. Oh, we all banding together. Yes, together the world. Ha ha.
yeah. Huh.
Fast forward the 2
And
years
then,
full lockdown.
like,
Everyone angry.
what? Wait,
Everyone now.
what?
Everyone angry now. Losing jobs,
Yeah,
losing health, having to take these force-fed Jabberwocky things that who knows what's in those waters. Hello, they're still an
yeah,
experimental drug. Don't you remember, guys? And they did say, we've got this experiment. We don't know how long it's going to take. But guess what? Operation Warp Speed or Fast Forward, whatever they call that rubbish. Oh, it's ready now.
yeah,
Come on.
yeah,
Come on. Was it not ready, waited for them and said, just hold it, hold it?
yeah.
Okay, we can't hold it any longer. Let's give
I'll
them.
get there.
And then let's boost them plus before they wake up. Because not just that great awakening physically, which they took advantage of, there were so many planetary alignments. No one was looking up. No one was going within. Some of us were.
Oh no. Yeah. That was the time to really go within and get that work, that healing, like really go within. Like some people took advantage of that time because they didn't have to go to work due to the lockdown, no distraction. Like whether you like it or not, you gotta go within. Some people were like literally, that was, yeah, it got people into that.
Yes, and then on the other spectrum, remember, people could not go within because their mind is a dark space. It's a shadow. And so a lot of people took up the alcohols, the liquors, they took up the drugs,
Yeah.
they started getting involved with gender-based violence, child trafficking, and that started now is becoming a normal nature. Even look at Disney Channel. They're perpetuating
my
sexualizing
God.
children, the transgender agendas, all of these agendas, which
Oh
if
my God.
you can witness, especially if you're a conscious man out there, we need to protect our children, protect our women by speaking out and being an example, a leader, okay? Not to say be a boss and tell people what to do. Go walk out there, go demonstrate, go make these campaigns. Let's come together. Conscious Men Community is also part of one of my babies. which were born in 2020 because I was alerted to the amount of gender-based violence happening in South Africa, okay? And I was part of a neighborhood type of watch. You know what I'm saying? And I started on the ground, and it's not to give me any accolades because I don't need them. I know why I'm here. And that's what an awakened man is able to do. And this is why they've distorted and broken up the families, okay? They've broken up the families and broken away the masculine first from the family and made the woman feel like she must be the man and the woman. And then the child doesn't have a balance of waters, of masculine energy waters, of feminine energy waters to balance them within. Hello? That's why their minds are...
I know, man.
Like, you see what I mean? Everything is part of everything. Everything is part of the whole, right? And I just want to leave you with that and just start to really look at why these things are happening outside, and also why is it so close to me? Why are these things happening perceived to me? Because until you get to a certain level of conscious awareness, then it's happening through you. Everything you are what things happen through. We are, as beings, what make the system the system. Without us acquiescing, consenting, being a part of it, it doesn't exist. Simple.
Exactly. If we, that's so true. I mean,
Simple.
Again, it's got to get together with the unity, uniting communities, and that's very important. Like you said, if everything is shut down, there's no power or whatever, it's like, who do you know? What skills do you have? Where are you going to turn to, right? How are you going to lead? And it's also important to really go within and also have these tools that can get us through these times. Like really having those tools is key, especially for our mental health.
The mental health, that's a big thing. We're breaking the stigma as men. Next Day's Liquid Conscious Men community. We always campaigning, even though a lot of people are doing this. You see, when you do this with your shadow, it becomes bigger. Because that which you perceive to hate or dislove, whatever the case may be on the outside, is something which is yearning for its love within you. There's something about that triggers you, that has an electrical charge, masculine in nature, that's a trigger. It's like a spark plug which is faulty. You see? We're having to more and more tap into our triggers. Put yourself in front of triggers so that you can feel it. In the beginning, it's difficult. I went through the same thing where I put myself where there's purposefully triggers so that I can get triggered and sit with it.
Yeah, sit with it.
Exactly. If you need to.
Painful and it hurts. Those triggers.
You'll purge. You also,
if
you want to release it as a man, even as a woman, if you have a lot of masculine energy in you, go hit a punching bag, go do sports, go and do something where you move the vessel. So if you're very physical in nature, very masculine in nature, physicality generally will move the flow of energy. Okay? If you movement
is I had like an embodiment movement session yesterday. It's like you gotta do it every day, seriously. Whatever form of movement you can do, be it yoga, dancing, jump, like any moving the vessel is like there's power in that practice. Just like breath work.
Exactly. You see, so there's modalities, there's ways to also program yourself. Upon waking is a super important place to speak into your waters. Okay, before you exit into 0 point darkness, before you go and sleep, that's a very super beautiful space to speak into your waters. However, if you have a lot of programming, it's difficult because then you have monkey mind. You might have parasites of the gut, parasites of the mind, also entities. I'm serious. That's why you're scared to go into the astral realm. You're scared to do these practices because you know there's something here. all of this can be cleansed. You can literally cleanse yourself to base level and then start to relearn, add new codes, and remember, especially from your eternal spirit, from past lives. You know, if you're interested in doing regressional stuff, I also do that kind of stuff as part of my services. There's so much. You know, there's beautiful things. You can do tarot card reading. Isabel does that, which is beautiful. The astrological, tapping into the astrological bodies, your date of birth, your life path number, absolutely powerful. Your power days, your power days, your power numbers, your power dates. Also times.
So many tools.
It's endless. Endless.
Yeah.
You know, you can have fun.
For me now, like some of the tools that I've used on myself, like of course I also do Reiki on myself. I do energy mastery. I do energy cleanses. I use also light language healing as well. But I found that there's so many things that can work, like on a personal level. Like having multiple tools has really helped me, because there are times where I need something else, where I just not need Reiki. Like, okay, if I want to relax, just chill, lie down in bed, if I sleep, I'm going to just like do Reiki on myself. But then there are times when Reiki doesn't get that trauma, doesn't get that shadow side coming out, right? So then I will work with something different. It's like I'm going to do like a self-healing, where I'm really going to go in and identify that emotion and locate where it is in my body and pull it out, cut the cords from it, disconnect and disintegrate it. So those are some of the things that I do for myself, and I also offer as a service to people, to just like really get in. If you want to work on a specific emotion, trauma or something, let's get that out. If it's in your body, where is it? Let's figure out where it is, and let's get that thing out and let it go and move forward and heal. And also the other that I do is like energy mastery, where you don't even really need to know anything, where we just go in and just cleanse and really cleanse your entire vessel. And after that, stuff may come up that could be stuff that happened to you like in a past life or even this life, but you kind of blocked it all. However, it's in your subconscious mind. It may surface, and then you're like, oh, but like that's also a different healing modality, which I find that is real. It's supported me quite a lot, because again, you gotta cleanse, you gotta work with that first cleanse before you go in and bring in that light. It's like, okay, you can't just keep masking things. It's like, okay, you gotta still clear that and then go in and fill it again with fresh prana. So I love the energy mastery.
That's the integration. That's the space.
Yeah.
Where where you very not here. It's like you in limbo, depending on the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that too. And of course, like language, I find like language goes straight to the DNA stuff that needs to be there. It's like, oh, let's get this going, right? And then the light language does that. And also, of course, embodiment, moving, like really moving, especially if you do it intentionally, that's very powerful. You'll be surprised at what happens. Like, it's just, there's so many tools. Anyway, so many tools. And now I'm looking forward to doing this, the fasting with you during the moon.
Yeah, it's next week. So I'm already opening the channel for those who want to enroll. There's only 13 spots, because once again, I'm dedicating also my energy to consulting while we're fasting. So obviously there's going to be an energy exchange. It's not free. It used to be. It was free for 2 years. A lot of what I do, like you do, practice on myself for a number of years, 2 to 3 years, bulletproofed a few things, if you want to call it anything bulletproof. It's just about ascending. It's just about becoming one with nature, but also walking with your higher self in waking states, as opposed to having to meditate or take things externally, medicines, plant medicines, because they tools. Once again, I'm not using tools externally every day, but internally, this technology, this consciousness, I'm utilizing it every day. I'm engaging with it. I'm unified with it. And, you know, I'm becoming less and less the flesh, as in I'm able to command certain things, which it's scary at first, but once again, I move without fear, meaning that it's more like, let me sit with that a little bit. What is that? You see? And everything will reveal itself to you when it's meant to be. Also, your cells are so in tune. You are so in tune as a spiritually soul-connected being that you are prompted to watch certain videos, hear certain thoughts from certain people, hear words, watch different signposts. These are the ability to pick up subtle energies, subtle memory. Because remember, what is this air?
Water.
It's a phase of water.
With memory.
With memory. And also when you put the intention, you have the intention, you pulsing the intention, you are the intention. You become that intention. So anything is not out of your reach. Pain is inevitable. You're going to take it. You've got to face it to make it, but you will. Especially if you choose consciously, because there'll come a time if you don't choose consciously that the choice is already made for you or is currently being made for you as you still think about it. Because thinking about it means you're not doing anything. Even if you move this much forward, this much forward, this much forward, progress is progress. And that's all you require.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah. And you gotta start somewhere. It's never too late. You know, it's never too late to heal and go within. It's like every day you wake up and your life and breathing is another new day, and you can always start somewhere. I always like to tell people when they say, oh, then this, and I'm like, you know what? Everything has at its time, and it's never late. Like, you're not late for anything. You're not too early. It's just the right time. Everything, and it's perfect time, and people being ready to really do the work that they have to do, because it takes a lot. Let's face it, it's not easy. It's not an easy path, especially with shadow work, right? Because you're facing those closets, those skeletons in the closet, right? So you gotta really be ready for it. But yeah, it's never too late.
Indeed, it's never too late. Also, you always got a seat and a plate. We're just waiting for you to join the party. Higher dimensional frequencies are available. New realities are available. The earth is shifting. So shift with it. It is quickening. So become quick with it. Okay? She's shifting from a patriarchal top-down boss system to a more unified, magnetic, reciprocating, nurturing. Each one teach one. Everyone has a seat and a plate at the table. Okay?
Yeah.
And there's enough for all of us. It's just about our perception. Remember, the way you're looking at it, the angle, which will give you and determine the angel, which is a ray of light. It's a frequency. Okay? Hopefully, we're going to have this on a replay so that the beautiful beings can continue to tap into this, because, you know, it's good to keep notes. A lot of the time we're flowing. A lot of the time we're using energy to, you know, there's no notes. There might be a note here and there, but it's energy, inner chi. And you can also cultivate your own. But yeah, please, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been so fun to be here. Have you had some fun?
It's been so fun. I can't believe we've gone on for like almost 2 hours. It's like,
yeah. That's why I'm thinking, yeah, the replay will be good for them. But I mean, if you open to it, perhaps post fast, we can do a catch up. We can do a number 2, because you're going to be joining me with the fast. Hopefully your partner as well. Hopefully,
she did have 56-day fasting before, so it will be good to do this and see if we can do it together. But like really with the intention, working with you and doing this would be amazing.
It will be such an honor to have you. It will be such an honor to impart some wisdom, as per usual. And wow, you've come a long way. You yourself, we know each other personally for 2 years now, 3 years now almost. But online, we're yet to meet, but we fellow Africans, we connected, we're growing. We're also doing some exciting collaborations. We're co-creating in Africa for the Africans watching, listening. If you are looking to be involved in metaphysics, higher consciousness, all of these new, not new age, because once again, that's a spell. It's ancient new knowledge because it's already there. We're just making it better. We're taking it up vibration and notch frequencies. We're going slightly higher. Okay? And that requires you to be who you authentically are, so you can assist in being solutions as opposed to being a cancer or a problem.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's been nice, and I definitely look forward to collaborating with you more and doing we'll definitely catch up after this and talk. Thank you so much for your time. I know it's evening, really late for you, but thank you. I appreciate you so much, and I'm grateful for technology, Instagram, because we connected 2 years ago. So. Oh, our beautiful souls were like, I'll see you on Earth. So
I'll catch you there. Let's go.
Yeah, let's meet on Earth and do this. It's just amazing how sometimes I'm like, oh my God, my soul knows you and we know each other and we signed a contract to be doing these things. So I'm so grateful and I appreciate you so much from my heart.
I feel you. I feel you. Reciprocated, accepted, fully felt. I love you so much. Say I love you to the family, please. Say happy birthday for yesterday to the beautiful one. Mwah, an absolute princess.
Okay.
And
thank you.
you know, I'm just sending always blessings, abundance, more health, more wealth. And I'm happy to be working with you on the fast, man. Exciting time.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much. I love you. Stay well and take care. Stay blessed. Okay. Bye.
Bye.